Which one should you use?
The CV is there. That one contains the plan.
Okay. But what two CVs? 13.
Yeah, you
Oh. Hello, Chief.
So you have a swap. So today is the confirmation hearing of the Minister Designate Ministry of Youth and Sport, Kruah, were also serving as the. So we have Senator Amara Kane of Bapul County, Senator Besanga Fine of Grand Bassa, and then we have Senator Yan Twain from Nima County, Senator Deba Mambanding Pabla of Bapulu.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And I joined the chairman of the committee on our bill trial.
Confirmation hearing of the Minister Designate of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The agenda for the day. We have devotion, the administration of the oath, welcome remarks, self-introduction of the senators here present, introduction and presentation by the nominee, questions and answers, closing remarks, then we adjourn the confirmation hearing. So those of you up there, the rule here, we don't clap for anybody, we don't boo anybody, we listen, and you can take your note. At certain time, we'll give you the opportunity. If you have any question, you can send it forward to us, and if we deem it necessary, we'll read it and post it to the nominee. Madam Nominee, you have come as an applicant for a job. We are the last group of people that can employ anybody appointed by the president in this country. So we are the last bus stop who will determine that you get a job if you meet up with requisite qualification. So let's take this process to be very, very serious. Thank you. Devotion, chaplain.
Honorable Chairman, distinguished senators, Madam Minister Designate, visiting body. This afternoon, our devotion will be taken from the book of St. John, chapter 21, verse 15 to 17. In that text, we see Jesus asking Simon Peter 3 questions from the 3 verse, the same questions. He says, Simon Peter, son of Jonah, do you love me? And Peter answered in verse 15, yes, Lord, you are Lord. 16, Jesus repeated the same question. Simon Peter, son of John, do you love me? Peter said, yes, Lord, you are Lord. There was a final instruction Jesus was giving Peter in that text. Because at that point, he was to leave them for good. And that instruction was to what? Minister the word fully to those that he will, preach to. So the afternoon, as I look at the text and look at the slogan of our president, he always said to the Liberian people, think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia. In the first annual message, he used this slogan. The last time he used the same slogan. So, Madam Minister Designate, do you love Liberia? If you truly love Liberia, if confirmed, think Liberia. Perform your duty with due diligence and do the work of the Liberian people. Let's pray. Father, we pray that God, you will help us and you will help our elder delegates. That God, they will pose the necessary questions. And Lord, due diligence will be done today. That Lord, you will take the glory and our country will move forward. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda is the administration of the oath. Sagi Aham.
I, Cornelia, Wonkerleh, Kruah,
a bona fide citizen of the Republic of Liberia,
a bona fide citizen of the Republic of Liberia,
do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
and to my recollection
and to my recollection
is the truth
is the truth
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Over here, we need to understand his part of that.
Thank you. The next item is welcome remark. That will be done by the co-presiding.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, distinguished Senator, on behalf of this Committee on Youth and Sport, as the former past and now the past Atty, we want to say you are all welcome to this confirmation hearing. This is not a theater, like the chairman said. It's a place for us to do evaluation of the qualification, competence, and suitability of the nominee. As the Constitution already put it, it is by consent of the Senate that the President will appoint before whatever commission. I want to say you are welcome to the audience. This is a public hearing. If you have questions and concern, kindly write it down and pass it over to the Sergeant at Arms. Again, we say you are welcome.
Thank you. Next, we'll have self-introduction of senators here present. We'll begin with this hand.
A pleasant good afternoon to all of you. Madam Nominee, good afternoon to you. My name is Jonathan Ball Charles Survey. I represent the people of River G, and I'm the chairman of the International Maritime Affairs. Thank you.
Hello, colleagues, I'm Senator Prince K. Ford of Brown County, the Senate Chair on Ways and Means Finance and Budget. Good afternoon, I'm Senator Edwin Snow. I chair the Committee on Hydrocarbon and Environment, Senate President, Senator Montano.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Senator Daba Africa, Senator from Wonkerleh. I chair the committee on
I'm Senator Nyan Twine Jr., Chair of the Joint Legislative Modernization Committee and the lead campaigner for concession compliance in the Liberian Senate.
No committee here. No committee here for the state will come here.
Hello, my name is Atty, Senator from Wonkerleh County. I'm the chair on the public accounts, expenditures, and audit. And I believe I'm a member of this committee.
Actually, a member of the Facebook committee.
I'm a member of this committee. Good evening, Madam Nominee. I'm Senator Blessingard Middleton Finlay, Senator of Grand Bassa County, Chair of the Committee. But I'm here to support the Chairman of the Senate Schools.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Senator Councilor Joseph Kolako Bato Jala, Senior Senator of Lofa, Chair Banking and Currency, Co-Chair Judiciary, Member Ways, Means and Finance. Yeah, to me it's scary. You don't have a secret thing behind us. Okay, it's nice to be here today.
You can read it, Charlie.
Why you think I came here? Yes. I finished. I'm on mess up today.
Good afternoon to all. I am Samuel Gomben Kruah, Senator of Lima County.
Why did they come in? Old people can kind of, right?
Francis said it will be settled. Senator River County, Chair on the Senate Committee of Telecommunications, and last year, and also Atty
Yeah, Senator. That time. Yeah.
So you kind of take it.
I'm Abraham Dawes Dilla. I represent Montreal County.
Welcome back.
Okay, thank you. My name is Bill Kruah. I represent the interests of the people of Riverside County, and I chair this committee. Thank you. The next item is introduction and the presentation by the nominee. The nominee is about to convince us that she's qualified for the job. So this is the most serious part of this confirmation hearing. This is where she will convince the committee members and the senators and be ambassador for the job. Nominee, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Bill Twari, Senator of Riverside County and Chairperson of the Senate Committee on Youth and Sports, members of the Senate Committee on Youth and Sports, other honorable and distinguished members of the Senate here present, distinguished members of the executive branch of government present, representatives of other branches present, members of the press and media, members of the youth and student community, members of the sports community, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cornelia Wonkerleh. I'm 35 years old. a proud daughter and native of Lima County, an attorney at law, a mother of a handsome teenager, and the current Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. It is a deep honor to appear before this Honorable Senate as Minister of Youth and Sports Designate for confirmation. Before I begin, I want to remember two friends and mentors, Vani Aliu Jersey and Augustine Tamar, former presidents of the Liberian National Student Union, LINSU, and the Federation of Liberian Youth, FLY, respectively, who left us too early. Vani played an important role in my involvement in student leadership during my days at the then Stella Maris Polytechnic. I am certain that if they were here today, they would be seated in this very room, cheering loudly and advising me quietly from the back. I know that they are here with us in spirit. I respectfully ask that we observe a moment of silence in their honor. Amen. Thank you. I would also like to pay homage to a woman that has shaped my political career, former President Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Madam's quiet counsel has taught me a lot about leadership, including how it is often forged in private battles before it is tested in public spaces. In moments when I felt uncertain and vulnerable, she did not only offer comfort in wars, but also confidence through challenges, thereby causing me to discover my own strength. Thank you, Ma Ellen. Permit me to skip the usual references about how youth are the future leaders and the greatest assets of our country. I acknowledge that. We all say that. Today, I want to speak about how Liberia begins to think about the youth in the present tense and not the future tense. How we move from praising potential to designing systems that allow such potential to bloom. I'm fully aware of the enormous burden I carry, of all the challenges confronting young people across the country, of the expectation they have of their government, of the hopes they have for themselves. To be nominated by the President at this critical moment like this for Liberia youth is an honor of a lifetime, an affirmation in his belief in my abilities and firm faith in the power of the youth. I am deeply humbled by this trust. Thank you, Mr. President. To my parents, Councillor Kruah and Madam Makita Sawyer, you showed me from an early age that I was never too small to lead. Today is a testament of your intentional investment. Daddy, although you aren't here today because you are away on official duties, I am not just your legal colleague, I may soon be your cabinet colleague. I know you must be very proud. To my siblings, thank you for being the first test case of my leadership abilities. To my teachers and friends of the St. Teresa Convent, African Leadership Academy, Stella Maris Polytechnic, Kingston University, and Louis Arthur Graham School of Law, this is one of the moments we dreamt of. Thank you for your encouragement and support. To my son who is here today, Johnson Y. Topa III, you inspire me every day. I will go to work knowing that I must make you proud first, and second, to do things to protect yours and the future of people your age, and then the rest of Liberia. I will continue to lean on your support and advice, although I cannot promise to take your advice on football, especially when it comes to Leicester FC or Real Madrid. To the young people listening across Liberia, from Cape Mensurado to Cape Palmas, especially the young girls, this is my promise. I will be your minister, working and fighting for you every single day. I will be the minister of all youth, the young accountant in Monrovia, the young farmer in Plivo, the teenager in Buchanan, the single mother in rubber sport, the visually impaired student in Cestus, the Yana boy in Waterside, the sex worker in Red Light, the aspiring musician in Banga, the bike riders in Kantar, the youth struggling with drug addiction and who craves rehabilitation in Swedru, the student athlete in Carisburg, the young diasporan Liberian. Whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you live, I will be your minister. Honorable Senators, when confirmed, I will work from day one to ensure the ministry fulfills its mandate, coordinating youth and sports development nationally. I will be guided by the youth policy and strategic plan developed by my predecessor, Councillor Gerald Cole Bangalu, his team, and the thousands of young people and partners who contributed to it. I'm grateful for his leadership, and I look forward to building upon it, including championing the review of the 1982 Act that established this ministry so that it reflects the reality of today's Liberia and the aspiration of tomorrow's Liberia. Benedict Jesus, thank you. Honorable Senators, with your indulgence, I would like to stand briefly and demonstrate something important.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I'm about to demonstrate is to show us what opportunities we have as a country. So today, as Liberia, we have what is referred to as a youth bulge. A youth bulge is when the majority of your population are young people. As countries, we can decide to either use that as dividends for us, or we can continue, as we have seen in Liberia, to use it as a burden. As I mentioned in my speech earlier, the Ministry of Youth and Sports came about as a result of a military decree. So it was during the time of military. And what you will see is that in the past, as I said, where we are coming from, it was characterized by war, instability, violence, and patronage. What is our now? As a result of this past, we now see a Liberia where the young people are unemployed. There is very high trauma, there is despair, and there is a lot of incompetence. What all of these have done is that it has created a dysfunctional society. And this becomes a vicious cycle. So we move from where we are in the past, we come to where we are now. If nothing is done in the now, we go back to the past. Not necessarily to go for a war like we had in the past, but a war on capacity development of the young people's capacity development. Honorable Senators, today I am here extending a hand to each and every one of you to join me when I am confirmed to enable a shift. This shift will determine what our future will be like. This shift is what I like to refer to as pathways. Creating pathways for young people. This pathway, once pathways are created, we'll be able to develop or create access to skills for young people, access to opportunities, and access to livelihood for young people. That will also give us a shift from a dysfunctional society, as I mentioned in the first paper, to a productive and functional society. We'll again see another cycle, but this time it will not be a vicious cycle, it will be a virtuous cycle. Honorable Senators, now that we have established where we came from, where we are, and why a shift is necessary, permit me to speak about what this movement demands. This movement demands a ministry whose job is to design pathways that prevent young people from inheriting the past or repeating the present. a ministry that designs predictable transition in the lives of young people from age 15 to 35. Born out of a military decree in a troubled period in our history, the ministry's framework reflected the protection of the state, understandably so. But today, the text before us is different. Today, the text is the development of young people. Youth development is no longer a supporting function of this ministry. It must become a central purpose. In a country where nearly 75% of the population is below 35 and over 40% below 18, youth development is not only a social issue, it is an economic imperative. It is a governance necessity. It is a national survival necessity. We must ensure that the youth development takes on a new meaning, supported by ambitious planning, budgets that reflect demographic reality, and courage to think differently. We must move from programs to architecture. To achieve this, I will champion what I call a youth outcome compact, bringing together the ministries of youth and sports, education, labor, commerce, finance, health, agriculture, tourism, and the civil service agency. Because youth outcomes do not live in one ministry, they live across the government. TVET must deliver real outcomes. A creative economy must be intentionally developed. Internships, apprenticeships, and digital training must translate into meaningful opportunities for young people. At a 50% completion rate, we must understand why young people enter TVET programs and do not complete them. We must ensure that rural youth, disabled youth, and vulnerable youth are not left behind. Sports must become more than events. Sports must become a system for talent development, national unity, and economic opportunities. The county meet must become instrument of reconciliation, pride, and structured talent discovery and development. And youth civic engagement must be revived through a modern national service program that builds both skills and citizenship. This is the shift. We will work to deliver on this mandate, not because our national document or the ministry's performance contract says we should, but because common sense demands that we empower young people. Honorable Senators, I bring to this role more than my age. I bring experience working on issues that matter to young people, from the Angie Brooks International Center to the Ministry of Public Works, to the Ministry of Education, and now the Ministry of State. Across these roles, I learned one thing: results come from understanding the problem, bringing people together, managing limited resources well, and mobilizing when needed. This is how I intend to lead this ministry. I admit that the road ahead will be riddled with challenges, perhaps so challenging that we must question the very foundation upon which we hope. My vision, nevertheless, is simple: a Liberia where government systems enable every young person to see and access a clear pathway to agency, from learning to livelihood, from aspirations to opportunity, from potential to productive citizenship. This vision is anchored on one theme: pathways. To achieve this, my leadership will prioritize 5 pillars. Number 1, governance and system alignment. Aligning a system that governs youth and sports development across government, including a bold review of the ministry's mandate, and a proposal to separate youth and sports for the creation of the Ministry of Youth, Innovation and Technology, and sports as an independent architect for national development. Number 2, architecture and ecosystems. Ensuring youth development leads to a visible pathway into skills, services, enterprise, and opportunity through cross-ministerial and national stakeholders coordination. Number 3, sports for development. Build sports into a structured system for talent development, unity, and national pride. Number 4, financing and resource mobilization. Creating innovative ways to finance youth and sports development that reflect our priorities. And lastly, research and design. Transforming the ministry into a center for research, design, and evidence-based youth policy thinking. Honorable Senators, I plan to be a youthful minister, but I ask you to not judge me by my age, and certainly not my appearance. Judge me by my ideas, judge me by my decisions, judge me by my results. Some have suggested that my father's position in government explains why I stand before you today and why I shouldn't, and that I am undeserving of this nomination. I want to say this openly. I'm proud to come from a family that removed barriers from my journey, but I am equally aware that without hard work, discipline, and competence, I would have squandered those opportunities, and I would not be seated here today. The very pathways that my family and community helped create for me are the same pathways that are missing for hundreds of thousands of young Liberians. I know the value of pathways, and this is why I'm committing to building them for others. Honorable Senators, I invite you not only to confirm me, but to join me in elevating the national conversation about youth in Liberia. From what activities we can do today to what architecture we must build for tomorrow. I welcome your ideas, your guidance, your scrutiny, and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction and the presentation. Thank you, Madam Nominee, for your introduction and presentation that lasted almost 20 minutes. At this time, we call on senators to use at least 5 minutes for interaction with the nominee. I will not start with Boga. I will start with different county, not Niva County.
Chairman, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, just said it.
Oh, but
That would be the last person if you run away.
What boy?
Mr. Chairman?
No, that boy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to my little sister and distinguished vice chair of our party, I want to begin by congratulating you. Yeah, leader one. Okay, Madam Nominee, firstly let me thank the President for nominating you to this very, very important position in our country. As somebody that I've known for a little while, I'm quite sure you want to discharge the duty and functions of the ministry to the best of your ability. Just to find out, I saw you displaying graphs, displaying papers that indicate some of the issues that we have with our young people. If you are confirmed, not just reading those things that are on the paper, what practical action you're going to put in place to ensure that young people coming from school will have the opportunity to experience job as you did from the early childhood. Let me get interactive. What else you going to do?
So I answer every.
Yeah, not everything that I tell us soon closer.
So one of the first things that we'll do is to decentralize, proper decentralization of the activities of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, so that young people all across Liberia can have a feel of what the ministry is doing in youth development, in sports, in TVET, and the rest of the programs that we have. And we're going to be very intentional about that. We've also talked about the youth service program. While I agree that young people have to be put to work, most times what we have seen here in Liberia is when we describe youth service program or internships, we normally resort to having young people sweep the streets, do community clean up, and that is our own definition of what an internship or vacation job for young people should be. I think we have to shift that a bit. While it is true that by cleaning communities, it shows some level of responsibility to your communities, but there are other ways you can do it. We will be pushing more to work with other government entities who intend to decentralize. I'll just give a practical example. For example, the Liberia Business Registry. Business Registry intends to have decentralized offices, but they do not have qualified staff to staff those offices. Same with Liberian Archive, same with Land Authority, and you can name as many institutions that have that issue. So on the one hand, we have one group of people who have these practical opportunities for young people who are qualified to get the necessary job experience, and then but they do not have the resources to do that. Then you have a ministry with the resources to do that, but instead we send our young people, university graduates, senior students for university to go and sweep the different communities. We intend to partner with different institutions to revive that. How can we use our resources, our human capacity, our young people who are qualified to man those decentralized areas that would not only help to generate resources for the government, but also give young people opportunity to build their CV and be mentored in those particular ones. That's something that we are quite passionate about.
Thank you. My last question has to do with the management of the county sports league. We have noticed over time that we are doing the same thing every year, repeating it, hurting our pockets as lawmakers. What else are you going to do differently to alleviate the burden from the common people in the county so that the county meet can be enjoyable? You know, sometimes you go on the field, you pray for your team to advance to the next stage, but you worry about what's going to come from your pocket to support your team. Madam Nominee, what else are you going to do so that the happiness continues without praying for our team to leave because it's going to be a burden in our pocket so that when clapping, we just clap? What else are you going to do to help local officials, legislators, and all the stakeholders that come together to form the accounting at the county meet from their own pocket?
So today, before I came here, there was one thing I kept reminding myself: do not make a lot of promises. Do not make a lot of promises. But I think that there are some key, at least basic promises that we can make here. With the help again, as I mentioned in my speech, with the help of officials, as one branch of the government will be able to achieve that. So while I was preparing for my confirmation, I started to ask about the numbers. Apparently, the county sports coordination committee gets maybe between 5,000 to 10,000 support from the government to prepare the teams. And then when you look at the budget of what they spend to hire coaches, to pay the players to play, it's almost maybe 6 to 7 times more the amount that we give. I believe that there are means of generating resources, but it cannot be, we all know the strain that the domestic envelope has. So to sit and say that we'll be able to lobby to get increment at the domestic level is something that we can do, But I believe that if we programize, if we institutionalize or create programs around the county sport needs, then you're able to attract grants and other support. For example, if we move the county meet from just general playing for the unity of the country to one where we're talking about developing talents, young talents, that is something that you can write a grant proposal for and say, yes, this is our county meet, but the program that we're running is development of talents that can attract funding from outside of our domestic envelope. So bring innovation to this role. We're going to consult as much as possible. I'm not a sports person per se, but I have a son who is very passionate about sports, especially football, and I intend to use that passion to drive me to continue to do more in that sector.
Thank you. To close up, Mr. Chairman, I mean,
I think that's last one.
yeah, that's my last. With my party comment. Madam Nominee, like I said from the beginning, I've come to know you as a result-oriented person. Although you are young, quite young, but you focus on what you want to do. My advice as you go to the ministry, because this will be a testing time for the young people. You're going to serve as an example that will live on. So while you move to the ministry, we'll urge you to work, open up, work with those that you're going to see there, and show that they'll do what is required as a team. Once that is done, I'm sure you're going to succeed. Congratulations, and you have my fullest support.
Yeah, but
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Normally, I've gone through your presentation, I've listened to you, and I have a concern, and I want to know what is your vision when it comes to the youth in the rural areas, the challenges they have. How are you going to incorporate them in your presentation in terms of this new idea of giving them access to livelihood, giving them access to opportunities to have a job? I just want you to expand on that a little bit for my understanding.
Okay, so youth I segmentize. So you have youth who are attracted to the academics. So those will be the ones that want to go to school. You have some young people who are attracted to TVET, so they're more hands-on and they want skills training in that. You have youth who have their strength or their talents in sports. And then you have those who would consider the creative, so those who would do the singing, the comedians, the poets, and all of those different groups of young people. I believe that those different groups of young people do not only exist in Montserrat County. Liberia is one country that is really blessed with young talents, innovation, and everything else. As I said earlier, we'll be decentralizing. But in order to answer this question, I'll just give some practical solutions. For example, I've been brainstorming, and that's something that we'll be proposing if we are confirmed. If you look at Liberia along the coastal area, so that would be the Grand Kruah, the Sino, the Maryland, and the rest, those with access to the sea or water. Instead of having, we have a lot of vocational, we have 2 vocational centers in Grand Kruah, and then we have a couple of youth centers across the entire range. Instead of having TVET training in soap making, in hair or beautification, in tie and dye, what if we introduce TVET trainings that are linked to the availability of jobs in those areas? So if it's the coastal area, what if we teach them carpentry, how to make boats or ships? What if we teach them how to make fishing nets? What if we teach them aquaculture, so how to do fish farming and everything else? That way they get the TVET skills, but they also are ready for whatever job market that we have that. You also go to other counties where they do a lot of agricultural work, so that would be the Lofa, the Nima, the Bong. Bong is about to, we have the Tibu 2 TVET Center in Bong. We're pushing for a partnership, I think it's almost completed, for a private partner, public partnership there. What that will allow is to teach our young people from that area or that region mechanizing farming. So you give them the necessary skills that they can use for jobs that are created there. That is how we intend to approach the issue of skills development, TVET, and everything. And I'm sure with your support, we'll be coming to all of you senators because you understand your counties so that we can help to design whatever strategy that will work better for your county.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just make a comment. I think Minister Designate addressed a cardinal issue that we are faced with. I'm constructing vocational centers in all of the districts, and you struck the exact point that I wanted to hear from you, is that we are going to design programs that are within the confines of living quarters where the young people are. For me, Mr. Chairman, colleagues, I respectfully submit, Madam Minister, let me say congratulations for taking this time to come to us. Thank you.
Chairman. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Yeah, Amara.
Senator Cornelia.
Senator Cornelia.
It's okay.
Lay Kelly, Senator Paul talking.
You want to one?
It's been a long time since Bojan talked in the street. He wants to talk now during my time. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Madam Nominee, first of all, let me thank the President for nominating you. Thank you for your statement.
Co-chair of the committee.
Thank you for giving us hope through your,
yes, I'm the co-chair.
Your vision.
I said, please, man.
You can gavel. You can use the gavel. Thank you. I got this. But Chairman, you don't tell you what to do. You can say what I'm saying.
Yeah, Senator, go ahead.
That chair should be vacant.
Protected 100%.
Thank you. I mean, I was saying that thank you for your opening statement. Thank you for giving us hope. I was really impressed by the way you frame the challenges and the opportunities for us, and then climaxing it with your far vision. I know you. I've worked with you. I have no doubt that you will do well there. I have to say you're one of the most competent people I've had the opportunity to work with. Well, she has my vote. What?
Once I get praise, man, I'll sell you.
So,
that is very smart.
That would be, no, that would not be fair to the nominee. Even right, she has earned this appointment, and she, based on her presentation, we should vote for her based on that. So I just want to say that brilliant, but I'm concerned because everything you just said here can only happen when you have the resources. The budget that was just printed, I'm a number guy, and people sometimes don't like me because of that. But they gave the ministry 9 million, not from 1 million. And you were not there when the not from 1 million was appropriated and approved. You have this vision. You are a new minister, and you're going to be working with 9 million. Let me check the numbers here. You have 2.1 million for
compensation to run a place. All the things you want to do, you have only 2.1 million to do them, the research, the new programs, and so on and so on, to pay the current staff. Then you have 6 billion for sports activities. You're not a sports person, your son will inspire you, good thing, but you have the largest share of this 9 million towards sports activities, including PSID programs. I think 2 of them. One of them is the National Empowerment Program. You got 1 million. And the National Youth Empowerment Program. Same name, just that one does not have the youth, and the other 3 million. So how are you going to deal with this? To realize this ambition, wonderful for the country, for the young people you have, and what plans do you have to raise additional resources, and how can this committee and this body help you out?
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, as you rightfully said, is under-supported, if I may say, considering the percent of our population that that particular ministry touches. I agree that every other ministry will touch the life of the young people by all means through their performances. But again, a lot has to be done to buttress the effort of that ministry if this government is intentional about developing our Liberian people. One of the things that we're going to do, that ministry is a donor-driven ministry. So there are a lot of, you see the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Youth and Sports, they are donor-driven ministry. What does that mean? That means that outside of Liberia, there is a lot of assets to funds that are directed to activities in that particular sector. It is now left with the institution to go after those monies that are available, not just go after them, but to increase accountability of the money that you have and make sure that when donors are supporting you, they can get the result for what they're supporting you for. So the first thing that one of the things that we'll be doing is to have a dedicated team of primarily young people. I've come across a lot of brilliant young people from across the aisle who are very good at writing grants, they're good at pitching proposals, doing concept notes. So we're going to have a dedicated team of researchers and proposal writers and grant writers just to ensure that we scout as many resources from outside. We also have the different concessions here. I feel that one of the things is across the government, there is a lot of resources, but it's not coordinated. So that's what I talked about, the compact that we intend to establish, working with all of the other institutions that have cut-crossing interest in the youth sector. So once we can consolidate all of our fundings and agree as a team that this year you have 2 million in your budget, I have 4 million, the other person have 1 million, that brings us to maybe 20 million. How can we collectively design a program to put these very limited resources to the most use? And once we can do that, you'll see a jump in the resources we have available. You'll also see a reduction in duplication, because that's what's happening. Almost everybody doing the same thing. And if you do the same effort but it's scattered, you don't get the necessary results. So we intend to use whatever skills and experience we have to not just coordinate and organize a body that will be passionate about increasing resources, but also to just serve as that bridge between the government, all other government agencies, and the young people of Liberia, as the Ministry of Youth and Sports should be.
Thank you for that. And may I thank you for that good answer. May I suggest to you that as you reprogram, as you try to harmonize all of the fractured resources in the sector, to please consider working with this committee. Perhaps you could cost, not building an expectation here, right? But being proactive can help in the ways. Yeah. So if you can cost your vision, these 5 points, I think they are really great. And maybe share with the committee, share with the great chairman Moi, the home front, so that in anticipation of the supplement that the president told us about in his SONA, we can be here to vouch for you. The other concern I have has to do with the county meet. As a young man here, when the county meet was started, we saw raw talents come from the rural parts of the country into the Antoinette Turban Stadium. These were names we never heard in the regular league here, IEM Barrow. They were just rural players, identifying local talent, and most of them became stars. And their life changed, after the tournament. Today, we see the opposite when counties with deep pockets, come to Monrovia and recruit first division players to compete in a county league, which dilutes the spirit of you gotta fix this. But you see my question, see where it's going, right? So I'm concerned that, in my opinion, the spirit of reconciliation, of unity in a post-conflict country, the continent is far. We need it more now than even before the war to reconcile our country. And then secondly, there are talents in the county that we are not given the opportunity to shine on the national stage. What are you going to do about this? Because this is really corrupting the county meet process.
Most times when you want to bring about reforms, you have to make sure that those that you are pitching the reforms to buy into that vision. So we're hoping to push a vision for the county meet. Yes, it's a good competitive process to show that I'm from Nimba County, that Nimba won the county meet, and we carried the trophy and paraded it everywhere in Nimba. But it's also a good thing to, at the end of the county meet, show that we're able to develop at least 2 or 3 Liberians that will be projected nationally. You have the national team. And even outside of Liberia, we've had instances, for example, the former president, he was able to excel on the international scene because he was given a platform, and I believe that we have a lot of those kinds of talents. So as I said in my presentation, we want to decentralize the works that we do and be intentional about it. But county meet has to go beyond reconciliation and unity. When I was meeting with my team, one of the questions I asked was, why do we do the county meet? And they said, for unity. And then I'm like, is that all? Because that should be a platform to identify, as you rightly said, young Liberians who have those talents, bring them to national prominence, and it gets scouting organizations from outside to scout them, because that creates an economic pathway, not just for them, but for their families and other families around them. And the country gets to benefit from it in general. So this vision is something that we have to sell to everyone. And once we buy into that vision, we'll all sit down, review the rules. These are the rules. How can we reduce this and increase the scouting and development of our young talents that will benefit each of our counties across Nigeria?
Thank you. My last question. Young warning, not to say long. When you get confirmed by the Senate, you are going to join your father, and I thank you for paying tribute to him and the wonderful job he's done with you and your siblings. You'll be joining him as a colleague in the cabinet. He is responsible for labor, and you are going to be responsible for youth, the population that desperately need labor. And just bear with me here for a minute. Our population is growing more than our economy. Everybody agrees with that. Every government has attempted to solve this problem or struggles with it. Can you tell us, just briefly, how you intend to work with your father and other relevant executive branch agencies and the legislature to close the gap on this unemployment crisis we have in our country?
Thank you. While I was researching for this position, I learned that the Ministry of Youth and Sports was before the Ministry of Labor, Youth and Sports, before it was separated, and you have the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I believe at that time, the framers of the framers of that act that created that particular group as one ministry, at that time felt that it was important for the two to work hand in hand. Now we have the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Even prior to my becoming the Ministry of Youth and Sports designate, I'm one person that I'm very critical, even on my own father, because I believe that this government is a government that we advocated for, we campaigned. Our faces were before the cameras telling the Liberian people that we are here to deliver on certain things. Yes, towards the end, my father came and he joined that vision after he left the CDC and joined the Unity Party. But I believe that I have a greater burden to ensure that we succeed. Because unlike him, who had the switch from the CDC to the UP, I have always been UP since 2011. So if this government fails, I bear the biggest burden. So even outside of this role, I have been very critical of him. I believe that there are some weaknesses that we can strengthen through our ministry. Before this confirmation, I spoke with him and the CSA board. That's why when you see when I was listing the compact, I put the two of them in. CSA controls public sector jobs. Labor Ministry controls private sector jobs. Those are the places that all of the jobs that we're looking for, with the exceptions of those who create their own jobs, like the entrepreneurs, like the creatives, and the rest of the people who create their own jobs. Those are the two major sectors that we have job creation in. We're going to work with them. Some of the weaknesses I've seen is the intentionality about concessions that come and say, okay, we were looking for Liberians for the job, we couldn't find Liberians. Yes, they will bring the advertisement on the paper and submit it to you that we've advertised in 10 newspapers. How can we show proof that we have those Liberians available? My team and myself intend to create what we call a database for young people, where you can not just upload your CVs, your expertise and everything, but people, the private and public sector, people can go there and have access to how many accountants we have, how many forklift drivers we have, how many seamstresses we have in the country, people with talents and what they can perform. That way we can be intentional about these concessions that come and say we can't find Liberian. We can work with them and say, this is the database, these are Liberians that qualify for this position, and work with them. And I'm going to be very intentional about it. For those who have worked with me, and you, Senator, you have worked with me, you know how intentional I can be about results. I want to use this confirmation to commit to you that nothing about my work ethics is going to change. I'm going to be the same Cornelia that you worked with and that brings results no matter how hard it's difficult to do.
Thank you very much, Madam Nominee. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. We go on our extreme right. Borchardt.
Can't talk about it. One bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Nominee, so let me firstly say that I thank the President for his vast attentiveness in nominating you because the very age you spoke about epitomizes the nomenclature of this very ministry. That is a good thing, I must say. Now, during your expose, I heard you say that, quote, I am not a spokesperson, unquote. Let me say to you that I am a spokesperson. And so I'm going to give you a few pointers to see how we all can make this country better, even under your leadership. I will piggyback on the people who spoke about the county meets, because that is the biggest sports activities in our country every year. Now, since the inception of the county meet in 1956, Madam Nominee, this county meet has brought not one goalpost in any county for development. But sports is used as a developmental agenda in all of the countries in the world, including the World Cup, including the African Cup of Nations, including the Olympics. Countries bid to host the World Cup not because they are not seeing football, but because it brings dividends. We need to change the direction. You talk about institutionalization, I'm talking about decentralization. So let's take, for example, for obvious reasons, River G hosts the county meet. Liberia will prepare herself consequently for River G to be able to host that county meet. We will build a Stephen Tower estate in River G. We will build a Matadi estate in River G to host Liberia. Those stadiums and things we'll build there will bring hotels and other things, dividends to our people. Everybody will benefit, especially the youth you're supposed to be representing will benefit. When we are leaving River G after the county meet to go to Bonnie, all of those infrastructures will remain in River G. That's development. And that's what happened around the world. There are 2 Olympic villages. People are using their sports community to build. Morocco just recently made $2 billion in profit to host the African Cup of Nations. What wrong with us? We are hosting a county meet every year. When Nima County win, we eat it back. When Rogi win, we eat Pamato. And that's it. That's all we get. There's nothing you can show me in any county that has come as a result of the county meet. Satisfaction. Like Nima County win, they'll get 75.
Why, Bina? Talk for yourself.
That's what it is. Your institutionalization must be added to the decentralization for developmental agenda. We need to do something with this football thing. We're talking about sports development. I'm an example. I didn't go to any football academy, any professional school to play football. I was playing in my community and I became an international star. Liberia State has the pedigree to make our people who want them to be. But we need to develop the infrastructure in those different places. And we cannot continue playing on ATS every year. And that's getting complex. Because that's where we end. Please, let's seek to satisfy these conditions so that the county we can go to Cape Town. Let the people then see whoever we bring, they play against. They want to see River G play against Cape Town in Cape Town. And when we leave it for them, we'll need benefit. When we celebrate it, we will never fight to host the county meet because it brings up instant gratification. That is what we need to be seeking and seek to do. We need to seek to do. Now, our very national team, the Lone Star, is honoring your tutelage, madam. The ministry is responsible for the administrative arm of the national team. Quite recently, we've heard that our national team, the Lone Star, has been championing in local hotels in our own country. The SKD Sports Complex has a hotel that was built to host the national teams in this country. That hotel has been leased or outsourced to other people at the detriment of our own teams. Yet we want the national team to go to work on. This is troubling. Seriously. I've written the Labrador Senate. We've taken action towards that thing. We are calling for those responsible for the outsourcing of that hotel because it is a national asset. And we need to use it to develop our people like you spoke about. These are my concerns. I'm glad that you are going to the ministry. Like as Senator Cornelia said, you can relate to us, those of us who play football like you don't know nothing. Sorry, sir.
I can play too.
Sorry. You know, like those of my colleagues who play the game, Doko,
Thank you.
Quite honestly, it needs to bring us.
So you are playing.
Please. Senator. These things will bring us together. We cannot be celebrating because we are happy, only because we want victory today and nothing to show for. Since 1956, this thing has been going on. We need to stop it at some point to say enough is enough. That's true. Please, let's seek to redeem that hotel for our people to have somewhere to stay in their own country. That is a necessity. And like I said, we're breaking the Labrador Senate, taking action, we'll pursue those actions and bring those people who were instrumental in outsourcing the hotel. We want to see how we can revise that decision and give it to our people to develop our talents. Again, congratulations. I will be voting for you, as I say here on national radio, because I believe you are apt for the position. Thank you, sir. Thank you and congratulations.
So all I think you're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
Just note,
Senator Segwe. Okay, one demand man.
You want close? No.
Well, let me first of all say thanks to the chairman and to my colleagues. To the nominee, I will begin with a word of caution. The position that the president had designated you
Chair.
is a position of test. Number one, when it comes to age range, fitted. But the challenge there is majority of the youthful populates in Liberia are the mover and shaker. They promote and destroy. If you went to political party, any political party to have zeal to even move, talk about sports soldier, they originate from the youth. But the challenge there is people believe in patronage system. And they also believe that because the person is not for our party, we can promote the person. Your ability to bring these youth together, whether political difference or what, will help you to do a proper job. If you start listening to people, that man there, you were very focused on all in the election, and therefore, I don't think you need to work in our government. Now, one of the serious problems in Liberia today that is affecting the country and bringing serious disunity among us as Liberians. Whenever any political party wins an election in this country, they antagonize the other political party, they deprive them, even if they are in job. They will find means to take them from that position with administrative decision. It's affecting the society. It's eating the fabric of our unity. Now, in the Leeward country, there where you have bulk of the youth. But if you went to my hometown, the youth chairman there today is 65 years old.
Hey, I'm chairman.
And go across the entire country. Yeah. When you read the Atty community, they say, who the youth chairman? You will see some 50 years old can you the youth chairman.
Yeah, ask them for their age.
And the age, I mean the youth,
are the ones that will drive the developmental agenda of this country when we, who are in the 60s, 50s, 70s, are getting out of the scene. If you have youth in the interior, there is about 30, 20, 25. They just complacent. There is nothing to create some recreational activities that will mold your mind to achievement, but it's just dormant. They are affecting the society. So your ability to ensure that you regulate or you come up with programs about the role in society, how important they are in society, how do they respond to situations. The literacy rate among the youth populace, you need to look at that seriously. You spoke about vocational school, which is quite correct. The youth these days, some will get up to say, well, I went to my 10th grade in Bereko. Some say, I'll take my 12th grade in Sanibori Central High. Because the war kept them behind, the age they reached now, they seem to sit in an actual class. Then the teachers themselves also accept these people to enroll at that institution. We're creating problems in youth populace. And the result, the youth that is supposed to be depending on for the future of this country is in bleak. It's a serious challenge to you. You need to work on that. Then the content meet that the police has spoken on. The essence of the content meet actually is for a particular country to exhibit talent within that identical locale. It brings relief, it brings proud to the country. When they say, Samuel Kruah Jr., he passed for to Yanko and song. When they see you sleep on the football field. You know what I'm saying? You feel that Yanko is a proper divine, Kruah is a divine, and the children are playing. The people across the country, the feeder, the sons of the soil are playing it. But when you listen to Lofa, they say, Boyanze. And Boyanze from Nimba. I was always saying you will be Boyanze to be Lofa. I mean, then they talk about the fellow who are playing for Nimba or listen. No way. The fellow who are I know, see your player on Nimba team. Tape. Can you imagine? Tape in Nimba. I know what I'm talking about. Don't just forget about that. You understand? Then you look at it and say, Sonega. They bring for Nimba. The real essence of the academy. The academy is meant to bring people together in unison. But the success has gone away. People are now financial, become commercial poor. For example, the issue of bribery in the football arena. People pay referee to cheat on behalf of the team.
So now what number there?
What number? And I want to look no, who made it talk? The you might be so minister of the name of
You're taking razor. You're taking razor. You're taking razor.
What kind of race?
That razor you're taking?
Well, it's just a joke. The film of police for Lofa, so he was not dismayed for such a reason. Yeah. So I'm encouraging you. If you progress, the youth will be respected. If you fail, there will be a bad legacy for the youth because you stood there in that position. But age, your qualification, I will tell you as already groomed. Because your age in our African setting will be a 35-year-old woman to have degrees and serving several capacities and also share a political party
you know, as a coach, vice chairman, or what have you, they actually prepare you. But my concern here is the challenges you got. How will you cope with these challenges to make the youthful populate to be united? Forget about partisan sentiment and bring the citizens together instead of political party issue. Because we don't want to hear those kind of things. And when you come here, before being confronted and say, sweet thing. Oh, when I minister, I will make sure I'll bring them up, I'll do the other one, I'll do the. Then when you get in the ministry again, first and foremost you will be looking at those who are director, they're not coming your routine, you want to get at them. They bring disunity. Let a man be transferred or displayed based on incompetency. Do not elect a leader because because you like him. You must elect a leader because he's competent. Competence is a matter. You met a director who has served them for 15 years, who is qualified, but because they sat in line politically, you want to take their position from the position. They will not hear. So my advice here is, please work with the people. They want you from, they can't take you from. Anything that you do, whatever, it has negative or positive expression on us. Thank you very much. I wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
We raised two major issues that I just want to make two comments about.
The floor is yours.
All right. So the first thing I think from both sides is the issue of party allegiance. I'm a unity partisan. And for those who know me, they know I'm a hardliner when it comes to the Unity Party. However, I have some friends who are in the CDC, and one of them reached out to me after I was nominated, and he said, well, that role you're going to get over there, I hope you'll be able to work with the CDC, the young people that are in CDC. So I jokingly told him, actually, it wasn't so much of a joke, it's actually the truth. I told him, I said, the worst I can do with this position is to make sure that all the young people that are in CDC move for in CDC and come to the G. That will be my goal, to work with them and to show them that the Unity Party is a platform that supports youth agenda. That is my goal. I'm not going to use my party's platform or my position in my party to say that because we are not a part of the party, you shouldn't come anywhere around. Because if I do that, the 20,000
you ask me a question.
You will either agree
or tell yourself job down and see tell the
you will either agree that they are carrying
yeah, so our goal would be, as I said, to bring more young people to believe in our own vision and our own political platform that we believe in. I do not intend to use this to drive young people away. On the issue of most of the youth leaders outside, especially outside also rather not being youth, I was pleased somewhere in the middle of my confirmation, the person who gave me my first job ever walked in. I didn't have the opportunity to recognize her when I was doing my presentation. Councillor Yvette Chesin-Rare. Councillor, I randomly just walked into her office one day. We were sitting in UL Park that time. I was still in UL. And then I told her, I said, oh, yeah, you're got a inaugural secretary here. We young people who came to volunteer. She was like, oh, great. We need people to be photocopying documents here. Before we had the first big photo of documents to go and photocopy. And I stayed there for years, and she groomed me. There is one thing I took from Councillor that I use a lot. She always said this. You young people, you think you know plenty. But you must plat the new mat by sitting on the old mat. That resonates with me a lot. So wherever I go, even if they are older people, if it means that there has to be a shift, maybe shift them to advisory role so that we can still use their advice and their expertise. But I think it's important that we bring young people too and they build that transition. Because imagine what happens if you have somebody that has almost 50 years experience in that particular field. And that person is not paired with a young person, God forbid the person dies. There is no one else to continue in that legacy that the person has started. So what I intend to do, I know even at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, there are a lot of the heads of departments and other places, those who run programs, who are older, who want to establish some form of mentorship between the older people that have all of the experience there and the younger people, so that they can groom these people. Because even in the civil service, you have age range. At certain age, they have to retire you. What happens if you retire all of the older people and then there is no one who understands that department, or what happens in the sports department or the youth and sport or the youth department? So we're going to be intentional about that. As we said, our overall theme is pathways, and you cannot create pathways if you take one segment of our society, who are the older people, and leave out an important segment, who are the younger people. So even with the youth chairs, we'll do the same. Maybe in all of those counties, those who have been youth chair, they're almost 50, 60 years old, they can help us through a transparent, merit-based means of recruiting other young people that they believe can carry out their legacy that they have in their county that they're holding on to. Because most times when you build something, it's hard to release it. So if I have been youth chair for 20, 25 years, in all of the development in youth, I have been doing it. So just let that go becomes a problem. But if I choose who becomes my successor, or at least I'm a part of that process, I feel it becomes easier to let go, and that's something we're going to be intentional about.
Normally, thank you very much. I want you to make an answer as brief as possible, because the senators you see here, so now after 5 and they start going on, you have to postpone your hearing to another time. We will continue to the next day. So just be as brief as possible, so that
So big area references to that's no speech.
so that let us know.
We yield to you.
We give you.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sorry?
Okay, go for me, John. Go where? Or Thank you. So, Chairman, thank you very much. Madam Nominee, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Senator.
Have you declared your assets for the new position?
Not yet, for the old position, yes.
Yeah, but we need it for the new position.
I will definitely do that.
All right. Couple of things, Madam Nominee. Firstly, let me admit your presentation was quite impressive. And you came across as a very smart and intelligent nominee. I've dealt with you maybe 2, maximum 3 times in your official capacity. And especially in one of those interactions, you were very professional and you came across very well, left a good impression. Unfortunately, there's a general belief out there that you're an aggressive person. I didn't experience that way. That's a general belief. Where do you think that's coming from?
Unfortunately, we live in a society where when a female is assertive, you consider arrogant. When you are persuasive, you are considered rude. When you speak in a certain tone that would be regarded as showing power and showing leadership, for males is acceptable, for females you're too frisky. And I think that is the general perception that I have been made to face in the public. Unless you know me and interact with me, you may never know the real Cornelia, because the first thing that comes to your mind when you see a young, progressive woman who carries herself in a particular way is that I'm frisky, or she's very aggressive, or she's very rude, until you have the opportunity to work with you. One thing that we also have at our advantage is the age and the gender. So a young man my age will not spend as much time trying to inform or to have people believe that you are their leader. A woman, not just being a woman, but being a young person, most times on the first encounter you are dismissed. So how you project yourself is something that is very important, for again, there is a thin line between it being misconstrued. I can assure you that I'm not an aggressive person, because if you just check the feedback since my nomination, those who I've worked with, those in my schools, those in my former workplace, all of those people have come publicly to attest to my working relationship and what I'm made of. I can assure you that I'm not an aggressive person, and the same Cornelia that you interacted with, the same Cornelia that you face at your first or second interaction is the one that is still here, and I intend to be the same.
Thank you. Really, when you talk over your current position before the nomination by the president, there was some dismissal made at the Ministry of State. And your action primarily affected those from the opposition. If I'm right, you are now going to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, even though you just told you intend to recruit all of them to your party, and you are now a one-party state. Well, what assurance can you give us that as Minister of Youth and Sports, you will work colorlessly, without color, work with everybody, integrate the youthful population?
We are all politicians, and I may be young, but at least for the few years that I have been involved in politics, I know that there is something called propaganda. So propaganda is normally used to pin an image that actually doesn't exist, even if it's just the slightest truth in it. Yes, when we went to the Ministry of State, a supplementary payroll containing 700 persons was closed. Was the motive of closing that supplementary to put civilians out of job? No. On that supplementary payroll, I have people that are due or good who came to me. I have a church sister who doesn't recall me Cornelia. The only name she knows is Princess. I have people that I know personally who were on that payroll. But that was an institutional decision that had to be made. And unfortunately, for those who know the work of being a Deputy Minister of Administration, you are the bad cop. So senior management makes a decision, and you have to implement it. That is your role. That is a test of your leadership. If you shy away from implementing, that's your first failure. I think those steps that were taken are some of the same reason why I'm here today. Because those who have worked with know that when the decision is made as a group and I'm asked to implement it, I implement it, irrespective of what the outcome will come for me. I did not close a payroll containing only civilians. We did not close the payroll to put Liberians out of job. We closed that payroll because the Ministry of State did not have the necessary revenue to pay 700 persons over a period of 1 year. And that was an administrative decision that had to be made.
Well, in your presentation, you spoke of, you made reference to different counties. You talk about the blind men, ancestors, you talk about different issues. But interestingly, you spoke of the sex worker in red light. Could you elaborate on sex worker?
So I know it's not a legal field for enterprise here in Liberia. But generally, we all know when I say sex workers, for lack of better word, excuse my language at this point, is people who are referred to as prostitutes. In as much as they're not doing a legal line of work, and we might try to rehabilitate them and reform them and put them back into the society, these people exist. And to close your eyes on that reality will be filling a whole segment of the society that needs help from this government. That was why I was very intentional about naming them. Because I knew that by naming them, you'll get under the skin of those who culturally do not agree that you must reference those people. We intend to work with them, to rehabilitate them, to show them that there are other means of survival outside of that. And that is the reason why I refer to them in my presentation.
Are the sex worker part of the 70,000 jobs?
I think that the jobs were in the formal sector and not the informal. They are considered informal.
No, but the president has short and middle terms. So.
I don't believe they are part of the
So, Chair, my last question. Well, Dominique, So I saw a post of you on Facebook, and I made a comment. And the famous Mo Ali went on the comment and said what he had to say as usual. But interestingly, your response was that you are already a minister in the government. So if you didn't get confirmed by the Senate, you just stay where you are. Do you need my vote to go to Ministry of Youth and Sports, or you don't need my vote to stay at the mansion?
So I do not only need your vote, I depend on your vote to get confirmed as Minister Designate of Youth and Sports. I'm counting on it because I know that outside of Facebook interactions, hopefully this engagement here today shows that there are greater risks and more pressing issues that we collectively, you and myself, need to work towards to achieve as a government, whether we are from different branches of government or not. So yes, I need your vote, not just your vote, but your support. When we're coming up with a program for Bonny County, I would like for us to sit around the table, you and Senator Tyler and myself, along with the representatives, and decide how to redevelop those programs to tie into your agenda and the overall agenda of the government.
You can't say no to that one.
Thank you. So, I want to say something to you, and this won't be a question, just a caution you a little bit. I think it was last Friday, your confirmation was scheduled. Friday before, something like that. You know, this big thing on Facebook. Everybody having meetings here. It was very funny. And this is just a caution because I was deciding today, some of the short-term jobs the president was talking about, I think the people that can just go around and just lie. People lie a lot. I was sitting, and it's important to reference this, Mr. Chairman. I'm sitting in Senator Amara Connor's office, and Senator Darius did not come to the office. Amara said, something said was doing on that Friday, going to Bakolo or to the box. I said I got a program for me. Senator Dillon said he and Senator Young Twine were going to Dubai that weekend. So he wasn't coming here. So it was like, everyone of us kind of like, she's smart, it's not a bad nomination. Not much attention. So I wasn't coming. They don't say he wasn't coming. Amara. But we're only concerned with you having Kruah. Of course, your mission, your rescue people are going to come for Kruah, which we knew. So I think Bobby attended the program. I'm sure Delon is hot because he said he wasn't coming here. I see on Facebook that Senator Bill Traore, Senator Delon, Senator Maggie, and Edwin Store at Royal Hotel having meetings. Not to confront. You know, humility and I'm not saying you, I mean, just to those that spread the lies. We have Senate offices here. Do we have to go way to Royal Hotel and spend money just to discuss our votes? So the reason I'm stating this, my nominee, you keep referencing your age. I just want to caution you. This country, people can lie. As you go into this new role, and I'm speaking affirmatively, not guessing. As you go into the new role, go there wearing a cap, and people lie. You go there, people come to you tomorrow morning and start showing you all the bad people in the ministry. Find it for yourself. Don't let them locate the bad people for you. I'm a very proud opposition of this law. But there's one minister that I have so much respect for, and I think that one of the best appointments the president has made, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I want to urge you to be that record. You impressed me today. I think you've done a great job, and I wish you well in happiness.
Thank you.
My nominee, what Senator Snow yet told you is the actual fact. I went to my hospital now and somebody told me that I was about to go to a meeting to discuss your denial. If I want to deny you, I don't have to go to any meeting. I owe anybody an apology to deny anybody. That the word the Librarian book gave me and I can exercise it anytime. So you myself been talking cordially, we've been discussing, then people go on Facebook and say, Senator Slow, myself, and Senator Dillon, and McGill, we went to a meeting there to discuss how to deny you. So the people you got a question them. Thank you. Senator Dillon. Senator Dillon.
Thank you. Senator Slow said something. Good afternoon. Senator Slow said something. So I just want to. Friday before the last, which was the first scheduled confirmation day. Trust me, you were already confirmed by the Senate. All of us. But I will say something. You are Deputy Minister of State. Because of all of us vote, including mine. And you know that. In the Senate, we vote on the record. No yea and nay on the crucial thing. Everybody answers to the vote, yes or no, or absent, or abstain. So when a senator says, I voted for this, the record is there. And you know for a fact, I voted for it. I voted for Wilmot Pay to become minister. After he replaced me, I voted for Martina Timba to become minister. I also voted for Councillor Kruah to become minister of labor. Father. I voted for A.B. Kruah to become the director of the DEA. After he was replaced, I voted for Anthony Ford to replace him. I voted for Sekou Kruah, the current Minister of Postal Affairs, to be Minister of Energy Government. I voted for Yannick Besset to become Associate Justice under the CDC-led government and under our government. I voted for him to become Chief Justice of Liberia. And I'm sure you know, and the police know where I'm leading to. I voted for all of these people knowing that they come from Lima. All deputy and assistant ministers, all of this government from Lima come and vote. We already confirmed you will vote last Friday before the last. Just think about Senator Dillon. He led Lima people. He hate us. He angered us. It didn't get to me until Friday before the last. That the Nima Student University Association issued a statement on the confirmation day to the effect that I want to deny you confirmation because you're from Nima and I don't like Nima. It is something I want to call on you, Cornelia, the nominee, and all stakeholders of Lima to speak to this. You people will not understand the danger that this thing is brewing. Let me say this. You know, kind of meat is related to where it's going to go. Eh?
Yes.
The kind of meat where your own country of origin is
Bassa.
Then you look for one country where either you're away from, or your husband, or your man, or your everybody knows just to be cut off. Ain't no the fun. Grand New Country versus Nima. But everybody here know my mind is Kruah. Kruah.
But you're scared.
I posted on the social media to be 4 part of the academy fund. That my man Kruah, when we're coming up, all used to sing this song, Pamela went to sweet, the eating once and more. See the comments on my post from the bias. You hate us. My man Kruah and Grand Group playing. And I said, my man Kruah, I supported Grand Group. See the comments. This is one of the best platforms to speak to this. Because it came out on a day you were first scheduled for your confirmation. And all of these things happened that your confirmation was postponed. I want you and Stephen Cornelia to take note of this. I don't hate Neymar. I deliberately, knowingly voted for Jeremiah Kumo to be vice president, knowing he's a heartbeat to the presidency, if I'm Neymar. None of these names are called, and including my vote for you again. I'm doing so knowing if I'm Neymar. I didn't confirm any of those people as cool, Basha, compelling people, and in their job, then they became the bias. They were the bias, they still are what I voted for. I wanted to make this point. We are one country. These things start like this and end dangerously. I do not hate Neymar. Some of my family, in fact, young. Anyway, I just wanted to state this for the record. I condemn that statement. I reject it. I resent it. It should stop.
And you deplore it.
Now, Malamini, Senator Snow asked you a question about being aggressive. And maybe you thought your answer should be tailored in a way that it will earn you with a vote. But let me ask you, be aggressive. Be constructively aggressive. That's what the country needs right now. I came in the Senate and I became a constructive, aggressive disruptor to change things here. And something changed here. Be a constructive, aggressive person to get a job done for this country. Don't shy away from it. Now, you made a very elaborate, impressive vision plan in your presentation. I want you to package that and submit it to us. The committee. That vision plan, package it well and submit it to the Senate. Because all that thing talking, and you're falling out there, forget it. And let me leave you with this, Cornelia. Ain't you playing a reporter in the gallery? A reporter under Sanyo are watching? Huh? There's someone who confront you. Even if you want to ask questions now, suppose sentimentally inferior. After 2 weeks, when they not see you, they will not say, we don't walk in here to cheer. They will say, well, Hannah, you're friend. In the next 6 months, I will rally the Senate for us to call you back in to evaluate your medium-term performance. That means you already have the vote of the Senate. We wish you well. Very much well. Let me leave this with you. That thing you have demonstrated here, General, with your chat. Ain't no matter we dress and not that graph that you display here, you must do the work. Because if you are not doing the people's work, that graph will be your famous picture.
Thank you, Senator Dillon. Thank you, Senator Dillon. To add to Senator Dillon, I want to inform all the people of Nema that Senator Dillon had come to me and told me that I will confirm to get 2 months vote. But I don't want to appear before I ask any kind of critical question, then they say Senator Dillon again. And Senator Dillon is right. Their control coming from. People kill people in the player just because they were renting in the hospital and maybe they asked them, you pay the rent, get outside again. So your plea, Senator Slow, I don't know whether I have the authority to find.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But you can't impose.
I look for find you. So I want to add to what he said. I don't think Senator Dillon hate the people of Nima. And he had no plan to deny you. So please get it at the back of your mind that Senator Dillon is a friend to you and he has been advocating for your confirmation. He has not been fighting you.
Let me not tell me with your permission. You remember 2018? Okay.
Okay. Your response.
I was about to respond and say that Senator Dillon has not explained the depth of our relationship. In 2018, when I first decided to contest for the by-election in District 13, there were 2 prominent persons who graced that occasion. We all know how that rally ended, with the rally being disrupted and we all had to run and go in hiding. So there is a place in District 13 in New Jersey called Basseltown. And thankfully for Senator Dillon and the pro tem, they were right around Basseltown. So all the Bassel people ran to them and they started hiding them in the house.
You can sleep outside?
Yeah, they can sleep at the
Oh no, sorry.
and then they had to hide them. As a result of that, the first time when I was in mainstream politics and Senator Dillon decided to contest for the Senate, I was one of the front runners from the United Party who campaigned for him on both occasions. The first time when he got elected, and the second time we had a team that campaigned for him. It is because I knew that not only did he support me, but I was under an obligation to support him as well. And since that time, we have had that relationship or that political friendship of supporting each other. Something that I intend to continue. In politics, we know most times there may be points of strings, depending on particular times, maybe in specific situations. But I'm from the legal field, I'm a lawyer. And as a lawyer, there is one thing we are taught. When you're in a court, or you're discussing a particular policy, not policy, in this instance I would say policy, but when you have a case, and the 2 of you disagree on a particular matter, so all of the issues that you raise to answer in the court, by the time you leave that court, those issues remain there. So it is the same way that we intend to approach all of these different instances that we have in that we will come across in this during this journey. that even if I bring the plan, whatever plan we'll bring, Senator, they don't say your plan too ambitious and I'm very passionate about doing it, I will ensure that we're moving from there. I will know that it is his oversight responsibility and it's not in bad faith. When that publication came, the first place I saw it from was when Senator Taylor himself shared in one chat room where from. And after a while, Senator Twine reached out to me. Senator Twine was like, oh, well, you see, we're going to do the report. So I said, I didn't even know the people from nowhere. We say, okay, I come here, I'll call back because they actually put the numbers there. After a while, he called back and said, I spoke to them. I said, what did they say? He said, the man said, a preemptive strike. And that's the youthful exuberance. You don't even have to ask most times. But it's the way the Liberian society and people feel that they have to do certain things to prove to you that they're so supportive and you owe them your entire life. While we appreciate the support that everyone gave, overwhelming support from the youth community, from the student community, when that particular action was taken, we went a step further to encourage our young people to engage constructively, and you cannot put sentiments or disrespect in the way you engage people for performing the oversight. I want to assure you, Honorable Senator, that as we engage with young people on a daily basis, we'll be working towards shifting that mindset and creating a new way that we see things as young people being more constructive than destructive in our approach. I look forward to working with you. I know that if I work with you here on the Senate floor, there is nothing that I would want to achieve that would be impossible to achieve because you are one of those who knows how to work this floor. And I want to assure you that I remain committed to the political friendship that we have, the interpersonal friendship that we have up to this day.
Thank you. Sir Ali Joseph, political leader of PAP.
Incoming president. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No. Mr. Chairman, I still co-chair the committee?
No, you are not. You are not. A low for you, a low.
You political leader is funny for
so is that why you're walking out?
No, I'm coming back. No.
Okay, go.
It's okay.
All right, go. Waiting for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. Please protect the Mr. Presiding.
You are protected.
Thank you. But I want to say congratulations to you for your preferment. And District 13, I'm former representative District 13. You be a resident of District 13. And I remember walking around your community before for votes and what have you. And I know your family and what have you, I know you personally. But I want to say that while driving here, I was following your presentation. I think very good presentation, and I think it is the responsibility of this Liberian Senate and the committee to look at how do we fund those programs, because our youthful populations, we have to do something. Things are getting out of control. You have thousands in the marketplaces, and things are not okay, most especially with our youthful population. And I believe with your presentation, listening to you, and your past experiences, other places you have worked, you're going to do a lot of great things as a member of this committee and also representing Mosurado on the budget committee. We look forward to your presentation, and I ask him colleagues so that we can support it. We have to take decisions. Please don't be a canteen meat minister. Please. The youthful population needs you in this country more than even the canteen. That's just a department. But it's too much that needs to be done in the country. You can have a tour. You need to reactivate the MVTC. Do all you can if you can get whatever resources from national government having the MVTC be free of charge. I know it's difficult, but many of the young people can't afford to pay the money. What becomes of them? You have to do something about that. And that structure can take up to 2,000-3,000 persons. If that institution is running free of charge, and even look for means to transport them. You see sometimes people walking from Douala going to MVTC. People want to learn, but they don't have the opportunity. You need to create the atmosphere for them to come and learn. I'm representing Montserrat County. We have thousands of persons in rural Montserrat who have graduated from high school, but no other hope. Nothing. They don't have any other hope. So I trust your ability with those presentations and with the support from the committee in pushing the agenda, the youthful population agenda. I think we can do it again. So, Mr. Chairman, as former co-chair of this committee, and of course, I'm more secure. Yeah. I'm more secure. Yeah. So, you finished?
No.
Why?
I'm supporting my president.
Thank you. You finished? So I will give you my support, and I'm also into vocational technical education in District 13. The complex building can take up to 6,000 persons. I will invite you to see how best we can work together in making sure that we build the capacity of our young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The Honorable Nyan Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wait, I am Indian. Madam Nominee, congratulations again. You know, today, as former Assistant Minister of Youth Services, Ministry of Youth and Sports, today marks one of the significant days in the lives of the young people. When I took over in 2007, we had 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds who were heading youth organizations like LISU, FLA, and other institutions. But in 2005 up to 2007, the young people gathered and drafted a document called the National Youth Policy Document of Liberia. In that document, you don't need to look further. Everything that should be done for and by young people are in that document. But one of the key takeaways in that document was to have a youthful minister. And for the benefit of the people listening to us, the National Youth Policy define young people as between the ages of 18 to 35. And so today, you being a 35-year-old appointed by His Excellency, it is in fulfillment of that document, and I want to congratulate your appointment and the President for that vision of the young people. You know, I will be brief. I will not ask you a question. I will be straightforward because that is my old turf. And it was a difficult one because we were reforming. The system were broken down after the war. And so our job was to bring the youth programs on par. Much have been said about the sports side. They are pretty straightforward. You know, the programs are there. We just need to look for funding to put into sports. But the most critical area has to do with the youth employability and youth employment. And Madam, there were programs that were very successful at implementing in that ministry. I looked at your pathway. They are important, but it will require significant funding and it will take significant time. My experience as a youth expert then, young people are impatient and rightfully impatient because the opportunities are less.
So my thing is, why you are focusing on those pillars that you have outlined in your pathway that the Senate and the House of Representatives and the Ministry of Finance will be helping to budget for. I want you to pay key attention to the National Vacation Job Program. That program was a program giving young people jobs across the country, earning maybe some were earning around $100 or $125. And the testimonies from that program was that money was significant enough to put some money back in school or to get them, started up with a few logistics. The money might be small, it could be increased. On your leadership, I don't know the status of the National Vacation Job Program. Those are short terms, medium terms, income generating, venture that the ministry was very proactive for. I want you to pay key attention to the National Youth Volunteer Service Program. And this is Youth Expo's most successful program. Many people who are managers of banks and ministers today pass through that program. It's a joint program between the UNDP and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Take college graduates, train them into employable jobs, pay them, deploy them all across the country. They go into teaching, they go into health, they go into community service, and they come from there and they get jobs. I want you to pay key attention to that program. Rejuvenate it, and you will see the success rate. I also want you to pay key attention to the National Cadet Program. The Cadet Program took junior and senior students from the university and deploy them into ministry, agency, businesses, and pay them. The strategy then was, you didn't want to send somebody to beer factory or somebody to maritime and then they get rejected and no money. So the strategy we had was, we look for money to pay our own people, but we just wanted to get hands-on experience. And guess what? On our leadership at the time, the more than 250 students that were able to deploy, none of them ever came back to look for jobs, but they all got exhausted. Because we would train them in certain ways to behave and act that they would be important in the places that we send them to be absorbed. Today, many of them listening to me, they are in, private sector jobs and ministry and agencies that we send them that they are still there. Pay attention to the National Cadet Program. All of these big visions are good, but I think our little success rate at the time was focused on the practical steps that we're taking to get young people short in medium-term jobs. We used to say in Youth and Sport that we have a $6 million problem, and then they were giving us $2 million. Today, the ministry for there is $9 million. I know it's been swallowed by inflation, it will still be the same old money at the time. Today, I think the youth of Liberia have $1 billion problem, and then they're giving you $9 million. The ambition is good. Focus on the practical steps. Youth and Sport is a difficult goal zone. These people in the gallery today, 6 months from now, if you don't see that way clear, you will be the poster child now for them being unemployed. And you stated it rightly that there came a time it was the Ministry of Youth and Labor. Ministry of Youth and Labor. There was a reason why. Yeah, labor youth exposed. So you have a huge demographic to confront. Yeah, so right there, it's a good synergy there to work together. Yeah. And lastly, from my end, I know fully well that you are a firebrand. You come to this job with a lot of energy in you, and I want you to apply that energy towards meaningful venture, so that the young people, the young women in this country, whose dream today have been fulfilled by the National Youth Policy Action Plan, to see a young person who think like them, to head a critical ministry like this. And I will appoint myself moving on today, because I'm not just a senator, I was a certified ECOWAS youth expert, EU youth expert, United Nations youth expert. Those experts are staying in me.
Is it temporary?
So I'm here to work with you. I'm appointing myself one of your advisors, and all of the skills are in me, and I'm willing to work all hours to help
move the young people agenda forward. Mr. Chairman, how much I do want to give? Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Babala.
I didn't know you were going to call my name off, but you see,
Yes,
I see one time.
Yes, I wish you were.
Thank you very much, and again, let me congratulate you, Cornelia. These hearings are intended to establish nominees' suitability. I believe over the years of working with you directly, I know that you are quite suitable for this job. So I don't want to come and bore you with questions. I only want to let you know that Amakaba is right here whenever you need advice on any issue at your new job. And I'm really, really glad today for the commitment I heard across this school. That means that Liberia needs a lot of young people like you. And going to that position, I think it's going to be a motivation to many young people, not only people who are young. So I wish you well. Thank you.
Senior Senator Dala.
Is going to say my in-law?
My in-law.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Someone once said that the young people are both the hopes and pillows of every nation, and that they must be the first to realize that there can be no peace without tenacity. So, you define or you collaborated the definition of youth from 15 to 35. Now you are in your final year of the youth. Maybe after 1 year you become an adult. Can you assure me? Well, I'm not sure. I don't have
35 you can become president. Is what I mean?
Another one I'm speaking to. I've been speaking to the subject on hand. Youth is, be patient, Senator. Youth is 15 to 35. Am I correct?
Yes.
It is at 35.
Yes. She in her finality.
Can I go to your question?
And you say I give you a chance?
Yes.
Be friendly with me. So, is there, you gave a very good platform. Is there a provision for gender inclusion, giving the young people, the young women, the challenges they have today? Is there a provision for young people at the center of your policy or a vision policy, as well as civic education? Because civic, we used to learn civic as a supplementary course, as young people to show how intellectual we are. But nowadays, I don't see the civic program. So, the gender inclusion or civic inclusion, do you have any provision?
Thank you, Senator. So yes, definitely. Just by my being, I'm almost automatically a champion for gender inclusion, female. But most of that, my first job, as I mentioned, was with the Atty International Center for Women Empowerment, Youth Development, International Peace and Security. What we did at the Atty was to make sure that whatever activity that is conducted, the core of it should focus on gender equality. And that is something that we still intend to work on. As I mentioned in my presentation, I talked about partnership with different institutions. And I mentioned the Ministry of Education. On the issue of the civic education, I think that's one of the things that we can work with them on. If we take over as Minister of Youth and Sports, we'll be able to assess with all of the key partners in the government to see where they are currently, what the different programs are, and how we can blend into those programs. So yes, you can rest assured that we all will push for patriotism and civic education, and also that gender equality will be the center of everything. Not just gender equality, but even focusing on our colleagues with disabilities and other colleagues. Now we have an issue of those that require rehabilitation, that we call them the disadvantaged youth. So everyone will cut across our different policies and programs.
Okay. The development of youth today is 2 times more difficult, especially when you look at their subject-verb agreement. I spend a lot of time correcting youth when they're talking to me about what they want. I spend a lot of time on that. So I want us to put some time into it because it's really a serious thing. I get embarrassed when you talk to my man, stop, don't talk loud. Yes. So it's a big challenge because to get them to go for vocational training and other training, it first requires their subject-verb agreement. We got to work on that very well. And I voted for you before. Are we together?
Yes. I said that. Hello.
I voted for you before when I didn't know you. Now that I know your dad, a very good friend of mine, I believe it's going to be a super ego. What order? When you pledge your election before. What order? Hey, respect yourself.
Our father's marriage. So reference her.
No.
She was not appointed her father's marriage.
I'm saying, when you finish, I will talk. You can't tell me what to speak here.
Speak to her marriage.
I want a blue school.
Order sustain.
No, you cannot sustain order.
Order sustain.
Yes.
You argue with them.
Yes. The chairman of my law. Yes. But anyway, I want to congratulate you in advance for your nomination to this very top position. There is no doubt in my mind that you will equal this challenge, especially the endurance, the training you come from, the parental training you have that I've seen from your father as a good lawyer who won all his cases. Yes, when I was the Justice Ministry, I knew your father very well. So this is one reason why I admire the family. So let me say thank you, and you'll be welcome. Thank you. She said like you come in.
The elder senator from
And there is several persons that voted for them because of their
Thank you.
You can't say you feeling talking. Say Senator.
In
Yes.
In 1998, some of us were very happy as football when we heard that the now Senator Atty was elected president of the Liberian Football Association. I guess at the time of the election 28. We were very happy for that. And now in 2003, when I served as the national chair for the youth and student on the critical implementation of the comprehensive peace agreement in 2003, when I served as chair for both FLA and LINSU, we advocated that indeed the then, no disrespect to them, but then they thought that wasn't Harris, that of Jefferson Campbell, they were above the age, the youthful age, and could not serve. On that basis, we had a new committee on which I was the chair. And we kept championing the cause that indeed that we needed a youth and sport minister at the time. The current Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Father Kane, was our nominee as young people in 1971. So obviously, he was around 32 years old. That was our nominee. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. And we got to see older people, no disrespect to them, but we have been championing the cause, and indeed we want to see a young person to just set the example to prove that indeed young people can do it. But the reason we elected Riverview County was on the same platform that we can serve as a young person in Riverview County. So with that being said, it would be a mistake if I come having seen all of this plan qualification, all the interaction, and knowing that there's only one condition set in the Constitution, that by consent of the Senate, and I should consent. It's my will to do so. So I need no other justification or the hold to my value that indeed I support you. The young people of Virginia County will support you, and I will exercise the vote for you. Thank you very much.
You floor there?
Thank you. Thank you. We are at the end of this confirmation hearing, and I don't have much to say. I enjoy your presentation. I'm an offspring of Cali education. I also taught in Cali schools. So when you were deliberating, I knew that you were going to be extra great in your deliberation.
Oh, Chairman.
Because
so you take the committee report?
You gotta know you have a good foundation, and that the foundation carry you on. I want to caution you, when you go down there, please don't convert everybody to unity party. Why you said will cost you some votes? There are about 7, 8, 9 senators here. When you say when I go down there, I'm going to make everybody other unity party people. I don't. Give me a chance. You are talking. So I know you. Maybe I did not understand you properly. You said I will go there. Why you work with the people? They will join your party, but don't make it compulsory that you will start to influence them and go there. Then when the guys here, when they hear it, they will not vote for you. I know you will get about 27, 28 votes from what I see on the floor. You get no opposition. Another thing is, the people say you get a record of sacking people. You went to Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, you dismissed 700 persons. Those who are at the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, they were there for 2 years with Councillor Bangali, and they are there. I hope that you will not go there and then start dismissing people, especially because of party affiliation. We're also in government, we let people in various areas that will work, and we did not sack anybody from there. I want you to make sure. MPA, LIPA, and you name them. So please, don't go there to target other Liberians who are there for the daily bread. Don't target them that, look, I'm coming here so that you can lose your job. Liberia is getting harder every day, and people are survival. So please, until they can do wrong, don't just dismiss them because of party. And I want you to contact your people again, your rescue people, so that they can help me to push and expedite the process, so that maybe by this week you can be confirmed, so that you can start working. When I talk to the pro-10, they put it on the agenda.
Party business, party business. Even the chairman will take notes.
Your club down the chairman.
Your argument here.
Chairman will take note.
So thank you. Sergeant.